can we actually go back to like the very basics? So when and where the story takes place? Without like big spoilers.
Without big spoilers. Let's start with where. So,
I can talk about the where, exactly.
okay.
Let's go.
So it's the whole thing plays out in Letten, which is the birthplace of Dandelion. It's in the north, somewhere halfway between Covid and Cadeven, for all you map nerds out there. If you go to the Gulf of Praxida and take the Buina River to the east and take a right on the Nimnar River, on the other southern shore of the Nimnar, you will find this lovely place that you get to have a beautiful glimpse about. But it's in the north if you want the shorts, the LDR version.
So I guess we can now go to when.
So, the events of third expansion unravel after Geralt hoped to retire at Corvo Bianco, but then yet another adventure unveils. So this is what I would share for now. And then, of course, he has a good reason why.
The basic story, the basic outline has some really, really great vision elements that we want to cater to, but also enable the player side of exploration, not just the story side of exploration. So we are an open world RPG, and we are going to stay true to that in Songs of the Past as well. And we want to make sure that you are enabled to explore, but guided gently towards elements of the story, so you can still experience it as we sort of intend, but in your own pace, if you understand what I'm saying. So it's directed, but gently, and lets you engage in open world activities while you're already invested in a greater storyline unfolding. So it's still up to you, but nicely framed. And this, I think, was one of the biggest challenges still, which was the biggest challenge in the original game as well.
And I guess on that, Peter, what as players are sort of taking in the world and the architecture and all the work that the team has done, what's something that you really hope that they'll get to see and immerse themselves in, and maybe like the finer details?
Well, there's going to be a lot of beautiful stuff and a lot of characteristics that you can experience, and they are going to be obvious. But I would like the players to pay attention to the second layer of this whole world, which is the level design intention. I'm speaking towards my department, of course, because there's a lot of goodwill and greatly skilled intention behind every single pebble, every single asset placed to basically enable what we mentioned earlier, this kind of gentle guidance to make sure that you see everything that we intended you to see, but still let you roam free in the most convenient and accessible manner. So whenever you're on any path, you're enjoying any interior castle, dungeon, anything that you engage with, if you have a moment to appreciate all the good intent, the framing, the composition, the colors, the lighting, do yourself a favor and pay attention to that, because there's a lot of professional skill and effort that went into every square centimeter of this new world.
Yeah, I think while we traverse through Letten, could you tell us more about the inspiration? Because I already seen comments that it looks like Italy, it looks different than what we're used to. So maybe a few words about creation of Letten.
Right, so we still wanted to keep this character of Letten that is very close to our fond childhood memories of holidays spent at grandma and grandpa in the countryside. So when exploring Letten, when entering Letten, you should feel that from the get-go, right? This is a very calm land, an idyllic land, a rich one, but also mornings are fresh, right? You can see the crisp light traveling on all the vegetation and like shining on you through the leaves, and you can actually feel it that it's peaceful. It's there. So it's familiar for the Polish countryside, I would say, but also, as we can see right now, we also took some inspirations from British Isles when it comes to architecture, and it has a further connection to the lore, to the story of this place, because Dandelion, whose family is the owner of the land, they are counts, right? So as we were looking for something connected with the title.
We have some returning ones as well, though, that we want to dive into to start with. One of them is Thornbloom.
Yes.
So, as you can see, while we have some gameplay going, we're going to have a run-in.
Well, this is not actually. I mean, this is obviously a variation of an Archispore, right? But as you can see during his attacks, this is not your regular Archispore.
Bit different.
Yeah, this is something that has been born in the Garden of Thorns, so it has to be special. And as you can see, there are like new attack patterns, new VFXs. This is, by the way, you can already see the remaster improvements in VFXs, which are mind-blowing in my opinion. And yeah, so we have this one, but we have like...
That some may remember back from Witcher 1 days, back into the game.
Well, as you mentioned, it was already showcased in Witcher 1 trailer ages ago, and it's something that has been popping up since that moment. Like, there were various attempts on realizing the chain and Geralt having been able to fight with it. But, when the Songs of the Past started development, it just felt like a natural addition that finally we have the moment and capabilities to add it. Few things have to happen, like stars had to align, and Yigsoft help was needed as well for preparing the remaster, because there wasn't an option to add the chain before without doing this little tweaks and fixes for the combat itself, because otherwise it would be just too clunky, frustrating, and not really any help. Whereas now, after the changes that Moritz will in a second probably deep dive into, it's a very cool crowd control weapon.
All right. And I guess on this, so how does the chain sort of change the flow of combat compared to the use of swords and signs, which we're more used to?
Well, it's a weapon that you equip in the same slot as the crossbow, basically, and it kind of reuses some of the mechanics.
So was it difficult to kind of find the style that they have and these beautiful patterns that are sort of so intricately stitched into the clothing?
Well, Len will probably say more about this in a second, but, it's not only about the outfits. It's also about the architecture, about the foliage that you see in Letten. We were trying to create a land that is very consistent in how it looks and how it feels, but also a very distinctive part of the world, that you can feel that this is a very distinctive part of the world. And things that you see on their clothing are, when you play the game, you will see that those are deeply connected to their traditions and to their folklore in this particular area. But yeah, I won't take more of your time. Len, you have more to say about the patterns and all the hard work that went into designing this clothes.
I dare say it runs both ways.
Yeah, so basically with regards to patterns and how we generally approach embroideries or even decorative things that you find in furniture and just the whole world creation. If you look back to several different cultures, they usually reference stuff that they see, whether it's in nature, whether it's in their trade, and reflect it into their art. So when it comes to Letten, they are pretty much famous for hops, for braggot, for horses. And all of these are pretty much brought back into the artistry that you will find in, pretty much furniture, clothes, and it keeps the world consistent this way.
Yeah, even if you notice, her chair, there are hops cones behind her,
Wow.
So many details.
Yeah.
So many cool details. How did you actually ensure that the characters and the whole world feels really authentic to the entire Witcher universe? Because we had Velen before, we had to Zone, and now we're in Letten, right? Completely different, new world to everyone. So how are you guys making sure it all feels connected and right?
Well, it's obviously hard. Like it's obviously the effect of hard work of many people in many departments collaborating together to make this a reality.
She touches us Be not afraid.
Didn't say I was afraid.
Come, sword being of beasts. Delve into darkness and see the truth of Letten's beauty.
Garden demands blood, so we'll give it blood.
I see a white wolf striving forward towards a solitary tower.
Never chose to be a witcher. Fate chose for me.